Hey everyone, the Super Vader 400 here, back for another retro review, and this time I'm reviewing the 1995 science fiction martial arts film Heatseeker, starring Keith Cooke Hirayashi, who is best known for his work in the 1995 film Mortal Kombat as Reptile, and he appeared in the sequel Mortal Kombat Annihilation as Sub-Zero. I was a huge fan of his work from both of those films that I decided to look him up on Wikipedia back in 2006, and I looked at his impressive filmography, and I read the synopsis on MIDB of this film, Heatseeker. Heatseeker. Around the same time, I also discovered YouTube. However, by the time I discovered YouTube, I kind of forgot about this film. That was up until last year, where I remembered this film, and I decided to search for it on YouTube, and I found it pretty much all low-budget martial arts or action films that were released in the 80s and 90s were on YouTube's, the lower quality ones were on YouTube, and this is my fifth or seventh time watching it. The film is that awesome. The only thing I don't like about the film is that it's kind of slow, but the film is that awesome. I've always wanted a live action adaptation of the 1995 Killer Instinct video, the 1994 Killer Instinct video game, arcade game. And this film minus this film minus the comic book elements and the fantasy elements, the fantasy characters like Glacius, Sindor, and Idol. This film is the closest thing to a live action Killer Instinct film. Only instead of a Tibetan monk and a predator looking robot full gore, you have Chance O'Brien, Keith Cook's character, a kickboxer competing against other cyborg fighters representing different martial arts. You even have Bradford's character, who is in the film. It is mentioned that he studies Aikido and another martial art I couldn't make out, but he has a boxing um a boxing kung fu type style in this film, making him similar to Combo from Killer Killer Instinct. So this film is the closest thing to that film. But I'd always wanted to see this film because like I said, I was a huge fan of Keith Hirayashi, and he was awesome in this film. It was good to see him star in his own film. It's mentioned that pretty much for most of his career, he's appeared in films as either a stuntman or as a character actor. This was his first starring role. And I don't think this film was screened for which is one of the reasons I'm re-reviewing this film. I did another review of this film last year, but it wasn't good because I kind of couldn't follow the plot. Now after seeing the film for the fifth and seventh time, I can better follow the plot. I don't think I can explain it as good, but I can better follow the plot and for the most part understand what's going on. The plot of this film is that in the year 2019, Cion Corp, Cion Corporation, they sponsor a illegal underground no holds barred cyborg martial arts competitions. Keith Cook, who defeats Keith Cook, oh, no, Chance O'Brien, Keith Cook's character, a kickboxer, at the beginning of the film defeats another kickboxer named Raul, in a match to determine who marries his trainer and girlfriend Joe, and his manager and trainer and girlfriend Joe. After he defeats him, CN Corporation approaches him for a chance to fight for $1 million, and Joe Joe tells Chance O'Brien they don't need the money. And Chance O'Brien insists that if he takes this fight and wins, he will never have to fight again. he'll have to fight again. Before he can make that decision, CN Corp kidnapped Joe and force um, Chance O'Brien to travel to Thailand and compete in the underground cyborg martial arts tournament. H.Cooke arrives in Thailand. He gets jumped by the natives there and robbed of everything, including his clothes. Here he befriends an African American fighter named Telaziz, and later, of course, Thomas Matthews' character, Thomas Matthews, who is best known for appearing in a bunch of horror films. My favorite already being The Return of the Living Dead, appears in this film as Bradford. As Bradford, he befriends Telaziz and Bradford, and he advances through the tournament, and Joe, his manager, is forced to in order to keep Chance O'Brien from fighting Zhao in the tournament. Joe must train and manage Zhao, Gary Daniels's British martial arts superstars. Gary Daniels's character, one of the main antagonists of the film. During the film, Bradford, like I said, you later learn that Bradford was supposed to befriend Chance and keep him from advancing in the tournament, but Bradford fails to do so. And is executed for his actions when one of Tong's agents kills Bradford, and Bradford reveals he did all this to keep his father safe, and Keith and Chance O'Brien defeats everyone, including the main antagonist of the film, Zhao, and Tong and his managers shoot Zhao and try to kill Zhao, and Chance O'Brien knocks him out, and Tong is carried away. And the film ends with Chance O'Brien and Joe embracing each other. Like I said, awesome science fiction martial arts film. I like how this is slightly different from other martial arts films I've seen. The only thing I don't like about this film is that the film is slow, but it's worth it because all the fight sequences are awesome. You get to see several different levels of martial arts, several different versions of martial arts, from kickboxing, karate, aikido, taekwondo, kung fu, so many different and MMA, so many different martial arts. Shoot fighting and MMA too, the last two. So many different martial arts seen in this film, and I loved all the characters, including the other cyborg characters. Like I said, the acting for the most part was good. The only thing, the acting for the most part was decent. Characters like Tong and Joe pretty much overacted a little, but the acting was pretty good for a martial arts flick, and the sets were cool, especially the arena sets where the action takes place were pretty good for a B movie, for a low budget B movie, and yeah, like I said, this was my second review of this film. I did another review of this film in 2015, but I couldn't follow the film. I finally understand the film better after seeing it for the 5th or 7th time, and this was my second review. I may do an even longer third review later, giving a more in-depth review of the entire cast, everything about the film, but this was my second review of the film. Well, like I said, this was my review of the movie martial arts movie Heatseeker. Alright, I'm done.